Hey friends, welcome to a brand new video of my career Q&A. So our today's topic is about the most unstable human emotion. It's about your perception. Fun fact, do you know what you call perception in Hindi? Hey, don't Google anything, right? So I'm telling you the answer. Perception in Hindi is called as Anubhuti. It's a funny story. One of my friends' name is actually Anubhuti, and she's going to kill me if she comes to know that I'm using her name in the video. Fine, let's leave that topic. So, perception is actually a temporary emotion because if you know that from 5 or 10 years from 5 or 10 years before, you were living with some different perception, right, in your life, that I want to do this, I want to achieve this, right? And now look at you, 10 years down the line, so many things have changed, right? Your perception has completely changed, and now you are at some different level. So who knows, after 10 years from now, can you guarantee yourself that your perception will remain the same, it will not change? Come on, it's not possible. Your perception after 5 or 10 years is again going to be something different. So perception is actually very fragile and very temporary, and you shouldn't depend on it. That's the main purpose of making this video today. That don't depend on your perception because it changes, it fluctuates. So perception comes from so many different things, but I'm not going to discuss them right now. But I'm going to just mention the 10 most unstable perceptions that's running into us, right? So you can just figure out it yourself if you have those, and you can just change yourself. So let's begin. Also, I want to say that if at any point of time you feel that, oh my god, this is the perception which I have inside me and I'm obsessed with this, then you can contact me, right? You can always shoot a mail to me, you can call me, I'm your coach, I'll help you. So, the first perception is all or nothing thinking, the black or white thinking. And you know, guilty as charged, I'll admit it myself that I used to have this perception a lot. I was obsessed being a perfectionist. If something wouldn't have gone right, I wouldn't have considered the whole journey of doing that thing. I would have just, make myself frustrated, and I was just cursing myself. But hey, then I came to really know that yes, the gray area matters. Everything in this earth is not just black and white. So the first is the all or nothing thinking. So seeing things as black and white, right or wrong, with nothing in between, right? So some examples are, I didn't finish writing that paper, so it was a complete waste of time. Or there's no point in playing if I'm not 100% in shape, right? So these are the examples of people who have the perception of all or nothing. The second is over generalization. To generalize everything over and over again, to being obsessed with it. You know, do you know what's the meaning of overgeneralization? It means that to generalize everything, to make everything, to see everything as a common thing. So the examples are, I'll never get that promotion, or she always does that. It's a clear example of judging a book without its cover, right? The third is minimizing or maximizing things, right? Or in case, magnifying things. Seeing things as dramatically more or less important than they actually are. So some examples are, because my boss publicly thanked her, she'll get that promotion, not me, even though I had a great performance review and just won an industry award. Or, I forgot that email, that means my boss won't trust me again, I won't get that raise and my wife will leave me. So just, thinking about the future and just deciding over it again and again without even the real picture in motion. The fourth is the shoulds, right? And I'll just tell you, some of my friends, and I think most of you will have this perception of using shoulds. Like using should, need to, must, or to motivate yourself, then feeling guilty when you don't follow through. You make a plan for yourself and you don't follow it accordingly. I think it happens to 100% of us, right? It happens to me as well sometimes. So some examples are, I should have got the painting done this weekend. They ought to have been more considerate about my feelings. They should know that would upset me, right? So we shouldn't use more shoulds and ouds in our statement when we especially know we cannot keep that promise even to ourselves. So the next example is labeling. What is labeling? Attaching a negative label to yourself or others for any single event, right? You label that you label that person or yourself as a loser, and that perception, I'll tell you, it's the most pathetic thing we should ever do. So some examples are: I didn't stand up to my coworker, I'm such a wimp, right? You sometimes say to yourself, and that's not right. The sixth is jumping to conclusions soon. My father had this actually. Whenever he sees me in any of the work or any of the activities which I'm doing, he just jumped into conclusions like कि तेरा कुछ नहीं हो सकता यार, right? I think it happens to most of us, and that's okay, right? But judging a book by its cover or just the pages, some of the introductory pages, you cannot just give a judgment to anyone like that. So please don't jump into conclusions. And jumping into conclusions are subdivided into the mind reading and fortune telling, right? So you can just read it down here and you will know what I'm talking about. The seventh is discounting the positive, not acknowledging the positive vibes. You just feel negative every time and you say it time and time again. So saying anyone could have done it or insisting that your positive actions, qualities or achievements don't count, right? So some examples are: that doesn't count, anyone could have done it. The only cut back from smoking 40 cigarettes a day to 10, it doesn't count because I'm not fully given up yet. The person doesn't even acknowledges the positivity inside him or her, and it's really a bad thing. The eighth is the blame and the personal blame. Blaming yourself when you weren't entirely responsible, or blaming other people and denying your role in the situation. I think in the office spaces we mostly do it, right? You can just correlate to it. And the examples are: if only I was younger, I would have got the job. If only I hadn't said that, they wouldn't have, and many more. The ninth one is the emotional reasoning, assuming that the feeling is true. And I think this is also a perception which runs in our head over and over again. We assume things very quickly as human beings, even if the situation is not true and we know deep down with logic, but still our heart just doesn't ready to accept it. It's not actually, right? I think you feel the same what I'm talking about, and the examples are given below. Last but not the least is the mental filter, allowing one negative detail or fact to spoil your enjoyment or happiness, etc. And this example, I think, is goes to my mom. Suppose my mom, dad, and me were just going to the cinemas to watch a movie, and some relative just calls them to give him some bad info, some bad news, like somebody's child is not studying well, or somebody failed in the exam. And she will just take everything to her head and she'll spoil the entire evening. I think most of your parents does that, right? You can correlate. So this is one of the perception actually which we shouldn't do. So I hope that you, by the end of this video now, you really got the idea of actually which perception you really have, or which are the perceptions you really need to get over it, right? So I conclude my video today, and I hope that you will just look down to yourself and you will figure out which of the perceptions you really need to let go from yourself. And if you want my help, I'm always there for you, right? So good luck. So are you craving for more videos like this? Subscribe now to my channels at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and LinkedIn. You can also follow my site at www.mycareerqna.com. So until next time, take care. See you soon.